Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here from the Performance Lab of California, and we have another new breakdown for you today. It is going to be a combined breakdown on Tavon Austin and Marquise Goodwin. I've been getting a couple different recommendations to do both of these guys, and so I figured might as well just put it into one video. There was a video out there that, because they both were in the same combine draft 2013, so there was a video that had them both, so I was like, hey, why not just do like a little combination video, and that's what we're doing. Before I hop into the breakdown though, I just want to say if you like the information here, I would highly appreciate you subscribing to our channel. We do a bunch of different breakdowns like this to help you run faster, throw the ball further, jump higher, stay healthy, just a lot of different things that will help you in becoming overall a better athlete. And without further ado, we'll hop right into it. I'm going to start off with Tavon Austin here on the left side, one of the overall faster guys in the NFL. I'm pretty sure he's still in the league now. I'm sure they'll end up having to do a little bit with the training camp. But anyway, both of these guys end up running 4.25, by the way. So very, very fast. And what I'm noticing is, you know, a lot of people end up with their first movement really dropping down that back knee there. Obviously, that front knee ends up dropping as well. And then the hips end up dropping. So, you know, there's really a combination of a few things that happens in response to, you know, that first action. So it's, you know, kind of drop the knee, or both knees, drop the hips, and then from there, really getting up onto that front toe, so now you can create that extension. We see that time and time again. And look at the overall position of the body. Excellent job there, and then also driving that knee up and making sure that that toe really doesn't come up and facing upwards very much. It's really more facing down to make it so you can get it down as quickly as you can. See how that front foot, and I love these shoes, by the way, that they use in this combine. But look at how up onto the toe he ends up getting, not by necessarily pointing the toe really far upwards, but just because of how fast he drives that knee up and through, and then really lands on like his tippy toes, but is still able to get extension really quickly there, and then also is able to get that knee through, and all while keeping his chest and knees fairly out in front of him. And I think the start is really a big part of being able to do this effectively. See how where his foot is in comparison to the hand, and making sure that he's able to get these first steps as quickly as he can. I mean, it looks like he's just like shot out of a cannon, and really not allowing his hips to stay back too far, and also making it so he's his spine is staying in a low extended position. You can see how he's slowly driving up. I know this isn't a great quality video here. Unfortunately, it was one of the better videos overall. But you can really see how he ends up driving through with his hips, and making it so his hips are really well underneath them, right? He does a great job of not allowing those hips to be too far back. He does, you know, this is his 7th step here, boom, and he goes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you watch some of our other videos, you know that 12 steps needs to be at 20 yards, and now he's really starting to get upright, right? So now he's got to that 12 steps, and that's really, you know, in our How to Run Faster series, we talk about that, where, you know, once you get to your 20, you want to be able to start maximizing that last 20 yards by starting to open your body up, and you can see, you know, how he's able to do that. Now he's getting really tall. And one of the things that I'd say that I commonly see as a mistake, and I know you can't see it as good in this video, but as you start to get going, you really don't want to end up allowing that heel to stay too close to the ground. So you go and you transfer your leg through, and you land. So we're landing on this right foot here, and then once you land on that right foot, you really want to be pushing that heel up off the ground, and then transition that into your toe, pushing off the ground, to make it so now your foot doesn't end up too far back behind you. I see a lot of times the reason that people end up with their feet too far back behind them is they just initiate that first push off with that back leg a little bit too late during the overall movement, and that makes it so now by the time their heel comes up and their toes comes off, their foot's really far back, which I think negatively impacts the overall speed of the actual run. So again, excellent job being able to he's really more to get a lot of force and a lot of speed out of his out of each one of his steps. He's not too much in getting a lot of extension, right? You see how he's not reaching out really far out in front and picking up a lot of a lot of distance on each one of his steps. He's really working much more on his turnover. So he's just got extremely fast legs, extremely fast turnover. His transition time is probably amazing here. Let's see. So let's say he's pushing off at about 4.48. And then he cycles back through at 4.77. So yeah, he has under 0.3 transition time with the time spent off the ground, which is excellent, right? Getting into, you know, even though those low 0.3s is excellent, so getting under 0.3 is absolutely amazing. Now Marquise Goodwin's a little bit different here. You can see the same type of movement though. See how his knees drop, see how his Yeah, his knees drop, hips drop to be able to make it so he's able to push off really far up onto that big toe when he first starts here, and then is really getting a lot of extension on each one of these steps. So he really starts to open up really quick within those back legs. So he's really pushing off and trying to get a lot of distance there, but he's still maintaining quickness. It's not like he's slow, but he's just really putting a big focus on being able to get that extension within the back legs, which is great, while also keeping his spine down, and that's important. You got to be able to keep that spine down during these steps. And he's just great at being able to stay in his drive phase. I mean, he's still driving right here, and he just uses a lot of arms. I mean, look at how big his arm swing is, and we can compare that to Tavon Austin, where, you know, he's a little bit more compact the whole time. He's not going to go in and utilize a big arm swing, okay? But you can see that Marquise Goodwin's really swinging those arms a good amount to make it so he can get his momentum going, and really opening up a lot more with his legs too. Look how he starts to stride out, and how much more open he is with his stride, and see how he gets that leg out in front of him a lot and is using that leg drive, right? So see how Tavon Austin is, how he's not getting his leg out as much in front of him, or Marquise Goodwin's really reaching out and pulling that leg back in front. They're both landing with their legs pretty straight, right? You got to be able to land with your legs in a pretty straight position. But, you know, Tavon Austin's just not reaching out as much. He's being a lot more transition-based, where Marquise Goodwin's really opening up on each one of these steps and really has a nice overall position of his body during the, you know, posture. His foot's landing right underneath his hip. He's very quick in his contact time. I'd say that that's really good with Marquise Goodwin. His contact time's excellent. His transition time, you don't have to say that that's not excellent as well. It's definitely up in the on the upper echelon, but he's going to be a little bit quicker with his contact time with his foot on the ground, where Tavon Austin is going to be a little bit faster with his transition time, or the time where his legs off the ground. So a little bit of a difference. I mean, they're about the same height overall, but just a little bit different way of actually accomplishing a 4.25. So they both are able to achieve a really high level of success, but, you know, there's obviously a bit of a difference between how they're doing it, where Goodwin's much more, has a lot more distance on his steps, and so he's able to maximize his running there, where Tavon Austin might take him more steps, but is really quick with his with the time spent off the ground. So, you know, different ways of really getting the same result. Either way, both of them took 7 steps at 10 yards, and they took 12 steps at, you know, Marquise Goodwin's more like an 11.5. Like I said, he was opening up earlier, but, you know, both of them were under 12 there, and under you know, 2.7 in the time period. So, you know, it's obvious that they were able to run such a great times because they're able to, you know, stay within those parameters in order to do that. So excellent job with both these guys, and a great representation of how to do a great job on your 40. So if you guys have any questions, we'd be happy to hear from you. Also, check out our How to Run Faster 40 series, $19. Make it so you can guarantee to get faster, money back guarantee. If you're not able to get faster, you're going to get so much information on that. I highly recommend it, or, you know, any of our other programs. I mean, we have breakdowns, we have speed programs, and just, you know, I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and it's like my goal is to really help people all over the world get faster, accomplish their goals. I want to see, you know, kids at camps all over the world here that are, you know, running great 40s and utilizing some of the things that we talk about in these videos and in our programs to make it so they're able to really run a lot faster. So, you know, hopefully we can get you on board, and you know, hopefully you're learning a lot from just watching these YouTube videos. But, you know, I think you'll really be able to take that next step once we can, you know, actually get you in a program and really really help you out from there. And that's why I created that $19 program, because I think it'll really help a lot of people, and it's also very cost effective as well. All right, if you guys have any questions, reach out, and I'll talk to you soon.